Welcome, everybody. Today on the show, I have Lulu Trevena, the founder of Live Life with Wonder and the lead author of Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus, Courage, Confidence, and Creativity at Any Age. You guys can see that beautiful poster behind Lulu today. That is our book cover. Lulu is an artist, an author, and a brave healer, and I am so honored to have her here. Welcome, Lulu.
Thanks, Laura. It's delightful to be here.
So tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so first of all, you're going to notice my accent. So I'm Australian, but I'm living here in the United States. And my life has been always a part of creativity, has been woven through my life, through my normal social life or my work life. So over the journey of my career, I have been a hairdresser originally, and then I was a technical advisor, a trainer for a big hairdressing company. I've also been on the side, I always volunteer a lot. So I've always been on school craft groups or fair groups. So that's where my creativity has come in. And I'm already an award-winning author, and words have been the other part of creativity that I've loved, that I get to express the depth of who I am, and I also get to unravel parts of myself through my words. So I've used that now, of course, in writing books and producing beautiful pieces of art and card decks to give messages that are inspiring, and especially to women. And women over 50, that's definitely who I want to be an inspiration and empower them to be fully who they are. I'm also a quantum healer, an art of feminine presence teacher, and a soulful living coach. So I weave all that together, and I use that word a lot, weaving, because life is like a weaving tapestry. We're never on this straight one sort of path. We're weaving things into our life, and that's what I really like to do, and work with women around the world.
So tell me a little bit more about your story. How did you, from hairdresser to quantum healer, how did you get here doing what you do in the world today?
So it goes back to a very young age. I always felt that I had these spiritual promptings and guidance, and over the course of my life, I often tried to squash that. And the more I faced towards it and listened and was inspired and directed by that, the more I felt kind of fully integrated in myself. I write in a couple of books through your production, and I tell that story of, the intuition coming in at a young age and kind of trying not to listen to it, and then getting a lot of headaches at a young age, to the effect that they were weekly. So that was quite I don't know if that's often said, that people that know that they have these spiritual promptings and information, when they try to not listen to it, it affects their body in many ways. So this was the way it manifested in me, with a lot of headaches. And I remembered my dearest friend. She finished school in year 11 and went out into the workforce. And I was like, I'm at school by myself now. What do I want to do? And I was going to be a lawyer of all things. I was like, because I like to, in my creative life, I like color and expression. But in my regular life, I like to know the kind of the parameters and the boundaries and the clear path. So of course I didn't choose to be a lawyer. I went into hairdressing because I also loved fashion. How different is that? I don't know. But recently I was talking with some other coaching friends, and the hairdresser has often been thought of as the chairside counselor. We would have conversations with people and give them, inspiring information, or really hear them. And they hadn't heard, they hadn't had that possibility in their life before, unless they were going, to coaches or counselors. So in some ways, I think I've always been in this caring, supportive role. I've just been in different pockets of life with it.
I love that. My dad was a hairdresser. And
Yeah.
so I grew up in the world of that. And I remember a conversation I had with one of our other authors who also started her journey as a hairdresser. You guys are cracking me up with this. And of course, you have the hair to go with being a hairdresser, right? Your gorgeous hair. So part of this mission of yours is really to redefine aging, like how we think about it. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, and I do tell a bit of my story that my mum passed at 58, which was the age I turned last year. And, I remember when she passed, and it was a very emotional time for me. It also felt like she was quite old in my awareness of age. And I know when we're younger, people 5 years older seem really quite old, but she had she had a different manner. And when I turned 58 last year, I was like, oh, I've got so much more life to live. I've got so much purpose and vitality that I need to bring forward now. Like, when is the best time? And it's as soon as you realize it. And that's why I call my chapter "If Not Now, When," is because we never know how long we have on this planet. We never know, if we don't take that chance, what could happen if we don't take that little risk outside our comfort zone. We then confine ourselves to what our life is about. So age is very important in realizing, we do have only certain number of years left on the planet, and that's just the natural reality of it. And what are we going to do with that? How are we going to live? How are we going to connect with others? How are we going to, inspire and create this planet as a beautiful place for everyone? So yeah, I'm very passionate about age being a time to like really stand up, have your voice heard, and really take actions that have purpose, surrounding all of the actions you take.
I think about that a lot and think about when I was younger, a younger woman, if I had only had that fire in me then, what might have been possible in those beautiful years that I have lived. And of course, we can't really have regret about what we didn't do, right? We can only stand in the present moment and go for it. But talk to me more about how you do inspire a woman who isn't quite there yet, maybe in her later years.
Yeah, and I did hear you say, if I had fire when I was younger, I don't think I could imagine you not having fire, Laura.
It was a
I
different kind.
yeah, I think that's always been. Um, for many women, we as women like to be in the carer role. We do that role quite well, but often we keep putting our own dreams on the back burner until they're more like screaming at us, to allow what we want to be important. And often others won't think that. You could say in your family, now this is really important to me and I want to do that. And no one will maybe even agree with you. You need to listen to what it is that you really want, what you know at some deep level that you're here to achieve or give or explore. So listening more internally, taking some time to step out of your normal routine and just be with yourself. I think that's one of the very first things we need to do, is step out of that role that we've been in for a long time, whether it's, as a mother or even, in the workforce, and take time to really listen to what you want to do. Listen to those promptings, maybe journal, explore different things that you've never done. Go and take that dance class that you want, go and do it, an a cappella singing, go and, climb a mountain, whatever that is, try numerous things and be willing to make mistakes along the way.
I think that we watched the women in our lives, that generation of women in roles they were taught they should have. And then we learned that that's what we were to do. A lot. And, I was the first generation to go to college. That was amazing. but still I was to do that and find a good man, get married, have kids, still with all of that. And I don't even remember being asked to explore what I really want. It was like this thing that we were taught, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, when I'm working with women, as I say, I think I said this earlier, that sometimes no one's really heard them. Like they hear parts of them, or, you know, who they are in their life. Like I do remember my oldest daughter saying to me one day, and this wasn't very long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, she said, "I've just realized you're a person as well as my mum." And I'm like, wow, yes, I am. So, you know, we play into these roles, and we've not explored things, and we've also not been heard in that exploration. So when I'm working with women, whether in my circles or my coaching, it's like, it's all about you now. Like we're focused just on you, just, you know, and if you keep telling me stories about the family, great, but now back on you. We're focusing on you. What do you want? And it's a glorious blooming. I see women bloom within themselves, and it's just beautiful to see that.
I remember sitting there with that question the first time and thinking, I have no frickin' clue. I have no idea. I was never given time. I never gave myself time to explore it. I was just too busy checking off all the boxes and all the to-do lists of everyone else around me. And I guess I wanted to mention that for people, you know, the blooming comes, but you might be sitting in that other thing first and just be like, I don't really know. And that's cool. That's okay. That's good. Right. We'll figure it out from there.
I remember one of my mentors saying about the to-do list, you never get to the end of it. Like there's always, like, to think you've got this goal of completing it and never having a to-do list again is not, you know, is not the goal. You know, we're not trying to do that, but we're trying to do it with our own self-empowerment, fully embodied, with clarity of mind, openness of heart, whatever we're doing. So our to-do list then becomes no longer a list, but then something we live within. So, you know, making that distinction. And yes, you may not know right now, you may not know the next step, and then that's all we do is take the next step. And, you know, the women in this book have told their stories, which are just so heartwarming to hear, of different places in their life where it was like a crossroad, or where it was like a huge question mark over their head. And then they just took that next aligned step, and that's all that needs to be taken. And then the next and the next.
Yes, let's talk about this book. And that's exactly right. We have a collection of expert authors who have shared a really authentic story, but then we're moving beyond that to helping the reader with a tool that these amazing women have used in their life to move through those transitions, or that fear or the doubt or whatever it is, to come on to the other side. Why 50 plus?
Well, it's where I live, so that's my area, and it's definitely as a legacy to my daughters. You know, I have 3 daughters, nearly 18, 26 and 28. And I didn't know how my mother's life was at all. So me writing this book and then subsequent books is going to give them some direction, but everyone takes their own direction. But the more information we have, you know, the easier it is. It's like we're holding hands with someone that's been there ahead of us. And these women in the book, these beautiful women all around the world, have shown such courage and vulnerability in their stories to share these, and to be inspirational and encouraging for any other woman wherever they find themselves today, or maybe in 5 years' time, they may find themselves at such a crossroad that they need some sort of support, guidance, or help. And this is what this book offers. You know, you and I are in this self-development, self-healing arena, and sometimes it's just that one tool, and you just repeat it and you repeat it, And somehow it's, we go back to that flower analogy. It's like this blossoming. You just keep repeating it. You find this new sort of way, this new uncovering, and then something beautiful comes from that.
And of course, there are so many different kinds of women. We need many different kinds of voices and tools. And the why 50 plus for me is because I feel like there is a certain place that you get to in your life. And I'm going to say it was 49-50. It was like right at that mark where I just stopped caring what everyone else thinks, just that next notch of that, and really going for what I wanted. And again, it would have been really nice to be doing that in my 20s or 30s, but divine timing for everything, right? So that's that 50 plus for me. It's like, oh yeah, this is a new feeling of empowerment for me in terms of sharing my voice. I know that you share that too.
Yeah, it's funny. I remembered about 30 years ago hearing about the Red Hat Society.
I remember that.
Gone back and, so I was in my 30s and thinking like these women, and they were women in their 50s they arrived at 50, and it's like, yeah, I've been listening to everyone else and not myself. And also, when I listen to everyone else, they're telling me not something that aligns with me. So it's really standing in your power at that 50 and beyond. And, in our book, we have authors in their 60s and authors in their 70s. And these are first time, some of them have already written things, but some of them are first time authors. What a wonderful thing to say. In my 60s, I wrote, and I did this new thing. What a wonderful thing to feel just for yourself, but also, give that to others around the world.
Yes, it's a piece of their legacy that they're leaving. It's a very powerful, powerful thing. And as you mentioned before, the vulnerability and authenticity in the stories is amazing. I wanted to read a few of the titles for you guys. And so, Being Gorgeous, Loving Yourself Right Now is our chapter 2. Life in the Sweet Spot, 5 Ways to Let the Goodness Come. We have Mine, The Lessons of Your Life, Uncover Hidden Joy. And my chapter is chapter 10, Warrior Goddess Journaling, Conquering Purpose-Driven Fear with a Pen. I had to write about writing, of course, because writing is my jam. Lead from Within, Unleash Your Intuitive Superpower. So these authors are taking their stories, their lives, and then their master tools, and they're offering them up. And it's a global lineup of authors of all of those ages from 50 and above. And I just think it's magnificent. What else did you want to say about that?
Yeah, and when you say a global authors, we also have a community that people can join on Facebook. So it is called the Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 Plus Global Community. It also is in the book, so you can see that when you get the book. What was your question?
I wanted to know what else you wanted to say about our author group and just the book in general.
Yeah. I want to go back to that thought about the tools. Like, the reason we give a story, it talks to the individual person. They can find something often in someone's story that kind of, is similar or is, even challenging. They read someone's story and they think how challenging that is. So people connect through your story. And then the tool is like that beautiful icing on the cake. Now, to help support you to move forward, try this, and, do that repeatedly. So, I feel honored to have these women's tools that I'm now also using. Like, some of these women I have worked personally with, others I have not, but I've come to know them over this beautiful project. And now I have their tools that also support my life, and I'm a person that works in this arena. So anyone can take these tools and put them into practice as soon as they get the book or get the ebook, and make those changes that work for them and inspire and help their life in some way.
Powerful, powerful toolkit. This book is, and yeah, that was one of my biggest missions. I love that you said that you now get, you're privy to all of these beautiful tools. And of course, I think we are so into the healing journey, and we have a beginner's mind. And so no matter how many things we've learned, we always know there's something new to learn, right? And these books are so full of these beautiful things, these beautiful new things to learn. You are an amazing artist and have a gorgeous award-winning book and a beautiful card deck. Talk to us about your beautiful book and all of the things that you have to offer.
Yeah. So the word artist, I only really took that in my life after my 40s, because I was told I couldn't draw when I was young. But I've always loved color and texture. I've always done artistic pursuits, and writing being one of those. So I really only owned that artist kind of title in my 40s. But I like to be an artist of life, like that's where art, I think, happens, is in life. My book is not my art, but it's a beautiful artist, and that's my book, Soul Blessings, and this is the Nautilus Silver Award. And I knew I wanted to write a book from a pretty young age, but I just got busy with life, and then I turned 55, and I was like, this is it's now. I'd written for Elephant Journal, so I'd sort of stepped out with my words, got some really great feedback, and so I had really written the prose for this book already. And then I met this artist, and it was this beautiful synchronistic meeting of two people, and then this book was birthed within the year. And so it's got beautiful, it's art and also words. Every page is like a piece of art. So I say it's it's like having high-end art at your fingertips. And from that, I also did a card deck, which is called Moments of Transformation, and they're a daily deck, and they have beautiful messages as well as a deepening process. So a little bit like the tool again, there's on these 44 cards, there's 44 tools that you can use in your life, however they work for you. And my Epiphany journal, which also goes with as a normal journal, or you can use it with the card deck. So if you're doing some writing, you could use your journal and write in the Epiphany journal. So all of those are available from my website, Live Life with Wonder. And I feel blessed that these products came through me. They kind of, and I say it like that because even though they were my words, it felt like divinely instructed. And when I look at them, like even when I look at them today, I'm like, this is so beautiful. Who did these? And I'm like, oh, I did. So I like to think that's a little bit of the humbleness about it, because I trusted enough to open myself to allow the words to come through. And then I took the actions forward to actually make them a product that people can, use around the world.
I feel the energy of that in all of your beautiful products. And I love using the cards as writing prompts. So I'll pick one and just sit with it and look at that beautiful art and see what moves through me. And that, I love to be inspired that way. And your energy that you've infused into these is that kind of energy. So it feels like this beautiful double whammy to me. I love that. So you guys, please make sure that you hop over to livelifewithwonder.com, which is where you're going to find Lulu and all of her beautiful things. I wanted to just mention really quickly, mostly just a thank you to you. Thank you to the author group who said yes to this beautiful project. I'm speaking for Lulu now. We are so grateful for you for sharing your stories in this beautiful book and stepping up to teach your master tools. And of course, I'm going to be interviewing the authors coming up in the next few weeks. So you guys will be able to see those group author interviews and get to know our authors a little bit more. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that, Lulu, before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I probably wanted to circle back to the reason the book is called Wholehearted Wonder Women. You know, wholeheartedness is something I really believe that everyone, you know, man or woman, wants in their life, to live from this wholehearted place as a human being. And wonder, of course, you know, my business, Live Life with Wonder, that's where the wonder comes in, because the thing about wonder is often we think it's only children that have wonder, but when we actually reclaim the wonder for ourselves in any age of our life, we actually then can see that. We see wonder show up much more. And, you know, I was in my introduction, I write about often women think they have to be, you know, superwoman. And too many of us have thought we had to be superwoman. And the redirection of that is, I only want you to be the Wonder Woman for yourself. And I actually even had this line about, you know, you can put the boots on, you don't need the cape, you can have the armbands. And then a week ago, I found this armband with these crystals. This is my Wonder Woman armband.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love it.
at least I've got one.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm so delighted all these women said yes to being authors in this book. I've just relished reading their stories and seeing, you know, what they are bringing into the world, and how that they now, as this global community, we can support so many more women. So please check the book out, come over to our global community, and yeah, we'd love to connect with you, you know, personally as well.
So you guys, Wholehearted Wonder Women 50 plus will be out on June 8th of 21. And I invite you to join our live stream book launch party at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page. We're going to have all of the authors there to chat with us, and we'll be doing some pretty amazing giveaways that day for our book purchasers. So you're not going to want to miss that event. Lulu, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here to share it with everybody.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you for guiding this project with so much heart and so much direction, and yeah, hope for, you know, every woman.
So y'all remember one more time, livelifewithwonder.com. Take a next step, explore Lulu's website, her beautiful products. The book will be coming soon, and everything else that she is up to. Lastly, today, I want to leave you with this. What if the thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly the thing someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? It's time to be brave, you guys. See you next time.